Alright, welcome back to a Monday, January 8th, 2024. I'm just sitting here packaging some of the last orders from the weekend. I first wanted to stop and say thank you to everyone who's watched the videos. That's been pretty crazy. 15 subscribers, I think, in the last week, or however long I've been doing this little gimmick. No, 8 days, because this is the 8th day. I had a video reach 300 plus views, which was pretty crazy. Yesterday was a week video because I was super busy, so I just posted a pack that I opened. Alright, that's that. Just getting these orders out. $10 for this guy. The auctions ended from $2.25 to $696, so that's that. What's so boring to talk about today? I was going to bring up shows. A bit of my experience. Now, I started setting up at shows in 2010. My first show was a show in New Jersey. Forget it, granted. Doesn't matter. And I'd set up with a friend of mine. Helped them out. And it was an interesting experience. It was my first time there, so all the sharks came over and picked off everything I had because 90% of my inventory was from breaking wax. So It's not gonna work. Stand by, I gotta get a supply. Sorry about that. Yeah, so back in 2010, shows were fairly slow. The supply guys and the wax dealers always have customers, as they still do now. But singles are singles. There's either a buyer or there isn't. But what I will tell you is that, when I started setting up by myself more frequently at shows here like Westchester County, it was Hofstra show. Hofstra show I started going to in like 2008 regularly as a buyer, customer. And I'd always gone to shows before that, like, church or schools that they had shows in, and VFWs, and, nothing major. But, yeah, setting up at these shows at like Hofstra and Westchester County Center and Valley Forge, Boston, the Shriners. It was much different than it is today. Well, I don't want to say that it is today, but much different than it was pandemic-wise. Friday was like a lot of dealer action, and later in the day the people would come in, and some people you'd have some buying and selling. Saturday was the entire show. It was pretty busy from start to 1 or 2, then it would die down, and then Sunday it was just like coffee hour. People would come in, but most dealers were packed up and left before midway through the show. Now, all through the pandemic, the shows were crazy. Even the 2021 National in Chicago, it didn't matter what I put out. It just sold for whatever I asked for. It was bananas. And the National's always better than the other shows, but I went to a show recently, and it brought me right back to 2014. It was 1 o'clock on Saturday, and there wasn't a person around. It was a full weekend show for Saturday and Sunday. 1 o'clock Saturday, because the aisles were clear. It was a big show too. I'm afraid we're moving back towards that as a lot of the crazy hobby hype has died down. And that's okay. You just keep moving along. Just buy, sell, buy, sell. Like, it really doesn't matter if people are at the shows if you're not going to so many shows. You find other ways to purchase stuff through relationships and whatever. But yeah, I mean, there's no shortage of shows. Back then, you knew there was like 2 weekends a month. There'd be a local show, and then maybe once a month, the big shows in the region would try. There's a lot of controversy with that. Try to work together so no one was scheduling shows on the same weekend, and there would always be conflict. And that's the only weekend he could do, the only weekend he could do, and how can you do this? Like high school drama nonsense. But now, I mean, there's probably one or two shows every single weekend, small local to larger shows, and then now there's going to be some shows popping up on weekdays, which might be nice once in a while. Head out on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night to a show and see what you can find. But yeah, the show business has slowed down. Show business. And that's all right. There's still plenty of cards to go around. There's still plenty of stuff to buy. Still plenty of stuff to sell. No panic. It's just not what you would see like the flashy on social media. Like, bought today, sold tomorrow, 50x. It's going to be more like figuring out how to sell your extras, because a lot of deals you're buying based on this card, this card, this card, the stuff valued over this amount, especially if it's a bigger deal. And then there's always extras. And people just need to start monetizing the extras, because sometimes you're taking a beating on the big stuff. You try not to, but it happens. And you have to start to monetize your extras so that there's more continuity in the business. What else? I don't really have much else. 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes. Thank you for watching. Some coffee. It's my mug from the Aria. Stayed there for the last industry conference that I went to in Vegas, which, they'll probably have to get back to that. I think this year's was some sort of disaster. I didn't go. I don't even think it was an industry conference. But, yeah. We're taking a few steps backwards, and that's alright. Stay the course. This video is not as boring as the other days, but probably still pretty boring. I appreciate you watching. I will try and do another video tomorrow. I'm really going to try and figure out something to say prior. But until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Later.